Lesson 1: Navigating difficult conversations in the workplace.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are doing well today.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing quite well, thank you. What brings you here today?
I wanted to discuss a challenging topic: how to approach difficult conversations at work.
That is a critical issue. Navigating these conversations requires both skill and sensitivity.
I completely agree. What steps do you take to prepare for such discussions?
I usually begin by clearly defining the issue I want to address. Clarity is essential.
Clarity helps set the stage for effective communication. Do you rehearse what you want to say?
Yes, I do. Practicing beforehand allows me to articulate my thoughts more clearly.
That is a smart strategy. How do you manage your emotions during these conversations?
I try to remain calm and composed. Taking deep breaths can help alleviate anxiety.
Deep breathing is indeed helpful. Maintaining a level-headed approach can positively impact the conversation.
I also remind myself to listen actively. Understanding the other person's perspective is crucial.
Active listening demonstrates respect. It can also reveal underlying issues that need addressing.
Do you prefer to have such conversations in person or virtually?
Whenever possible, I prefer in-person discussions. Body language can communicate much.
I agree. In-person interactions allow for more genuine connections.
Have you ever encountered a particularly difficult conversation at work?
Yes, I once had to address a performance issue with a colleague. It was challenging.
That sounds tough. How did you approach it?
I began by acknowledging their strengths before discussing the areas for improvement.
That is a wise approach. Balancing positive feedback with constructive criticism can ease tension.
Exactly. It helps the other person remain open to feedback.
How important do you think it is to follow up after such conversations?
It is very important. Following up shows that you care and are invested in their success.
I agree. It can also help reinforce the points discussed and track progress.
Have you ever had to deal with conflict stemming from these conversations?
Fortunately, conflicts have been minimal. However, I believe addressing issues promptly can prevent escalation.
That is a valuable strategy. Proactive communication often leads to resolution.
How do you handle someone who becomes defensive during a difficult conversation?
I remain calm and empathetic. Acknowledging their feelings can help diffuse defensiveness.
That is excellent advice. Empathy can create a more collaborative atmosphere.
I also try to keep the focus on the issue, not the person. It is essential to separate behavior from character.
That is a wise approach. It encourages discussion rather than personal attacks.
Have you ever received training on how to handle difficult conversations?
Yes, I participated in a workshop. It provided useful techniques for navigating various scenarios.
That sounds beneficial. Continuous learning can equip individuals with better skills.
Absolutely. Do you believe these conversations can lead to personal growth?
Yes, they can. Engaging in difficult discussions often fosters resilience and opens the door for improvement.
I agree. Embracing uncomfortable conversations can ultimately enhance workplace dynamics.
What advice would you give someone who struggles with initiating these discussions?
I would suggest starting small. Practicing with less sensitive topics can build confidence.
That is practical advice. Gradual exposure can make a significant difference.
Thank you for this enlightening discussion, Anna. Your insights are very valuable.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed our conversation about such an important topic.
Let us continue to explore more strategies for effective communication in the future.
Lesson 2: The Power of Yearly Goals.
Good morning, Anna. It is always a pleasure to see you.
Good morning, John. The pleasure is mine, as always. What topic are we exploring today?
I wanted to talk about setting yearly goals. Do you set goals for yourself each year?
Yes, I do. I find it very helpful to establish clear objectives at the beginning of each year.
That sounds great. How do you determine what goals to set?
I reflect on my previous year's achievements and areas for improvement. This helps me identify priorities.
That is a smart approach. Do you have a specific method for setting these goals?
I typically use the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
That is very effective. It ensures that your goals are well defined and achievable.
Exactly. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to get fit," I would say, "I will exercise 3 times a week for 30 minutes."
That is a clear and achievable goal. Have you noticed a difference since you started this practice?
Yes, tracking my goals has improved my focus and motivation. I feel a greater sense of accomplishment.
That is encouraging. How frequently do you review your goals throughout the year?
I typically review them quarterly. This allows me to assess my progress and make adjustments if necessary.
Quarterly reviews sound reasonable. It keeps your goals fresh in your mind.
Yes. I also write down my goals and place them where I can see them daily.
That is an excellent reminder. Visibility can enhance commitment to your goals.
Have you set yearly goals for yourself, John?
I have. I usually focus on personal and professional development.
That is a wise approach. Balancing both areas contributes to overall growth.
I agree. For example, I set a goal to improve my public speaking skills this year.
That is a valuable skill. How do you plan to achieve that?
I have enrolled in a local public speaking course and will practice regularly.
That is a great way to gain confidence. Have you thought about your progress thus far?
I have felt more comfortable speaking in front of groups. The course has been beneficial.
That is excellent progress. I believe reviewing and adjusting goals is essential for success.
Absolutely. Flexibility can help you adapt to any challenges that arise.
What challenges have you faced in achieving your goals?
Time management is often a challenge. Life can become busy and overwhelming.
I completely understand. Balancing multiple responsibilities requires careful planning.
I prioritize tasks using a weekly planner. This helps me stay organized and focused.
That is a great strategy. Organization can significantly enhance productivity.
What are some goals you have set for yourself this year?
I plan to learn a new language. It has always been a personal dream of mine.
That is a fantastic goal. Language learning opens up many opportunities.
Yes, it does. I started using a language app and practice every day.
Consistency is key in language learning. How do you keep your motivation high?
I set small milestones, such as learning 10 new words each week. Celebrating those achievements keeps me motivated.
That sounds effective. Small rewards can enhance the learning experience.
Have you considered any yearly goals for next year yet?
I have started brainstorming. I would like to enhance my cooking skills and try new cuisines.
That sounds exciting. Learning to cook new dishes can be very rewarding.
It certainly can. I believe cooking can also be a wonderful creative outlet.
I agree. Thank you for sharing your goals and strategies, John.
Thank you, Anna. I appreciate your insights as well. Let us continue to motivate each other in our pursuits.
Lesson 3: Fashion as a form of self-expression.
Good evening, Anna. I hope you are having a splendid day.
Good evening, John. I am indeed well, thank you. What are we discussing today?
I wanted to explore the role of fashion in self expression. What are your thoughts?
Fashion is a vital form of self-expression for me. It reflects my personality and mood.
I completely agree. Clothing can convey a lot about one's identity. How do you choose your outfits?
I often select pieces that resonate with my current feelings. Colors and styles communicate my emotions effectively.
That is interesting. Do you think trends influence your choices?
Trends certainly play a role. However, I prefer to incorporate them in a way that feels authentic to me.
That is a wise approach. Blending personal style with trends can create a unique look.
Exactly. I believe that fashion should be an extension of who you are, not a limitation.
Have you ever felt pressure to conform to certain fashion trends?
Yes, at times. Social media can create unrealistic standards.
That is true. Platforms often highlight specific styles that may not resonate with everyone.
I strive to focus on what makes me feel confident rather than just following trends.
That is empowering. Confidence often shines through when one is comfortable in their attire.
Do you have a particular style that you enjoy expressing?
I prefer a classic, yet modern look. I believe it conveys sophistication.
Classic styles can be very elegant. What items do you consider essential for your wardrobe?
I consider tailored suits and quality shoes essential. They elevate any outfit.
Those are great choices. Quality pieces tend to last longer and make a polished impression.
How do you select pieces for your wardrobe? Do you have a specific process?
I prioritize versatility. I look for items that can be styled in multiple ways.
Versatile pieces provide great value. They can adapt to various occasions.
Exactly. I also focus on sustainability. Choosing ethically made clothing is important to me.
Sustainability in fashion is increasingly significant. More people are recognizing its importance.
Yes, and I believe that our choices can impact the environment positively.
Have you found any brands that align with your sustainable values?
I have discovered several. Some brands focus on using eco-friendly materials and fair labor practices.
That is encouraging. Supporting such brands encourages responsible consumption.
Indeed, fashion should not come at the cost of the planet.
Do you think the way we dress can also influence our behavior?
Yes, definitely. Wearing something that makes me feel good boosts my confidence and mood.
That is an intriguing perspective. The psychology of fashion is an essential aspect of self-expression.
I believe clothing can affect how others perceive us as well. First impressions matter.
Very true. Fashion can serve as a powerful communication tool in social interactions.
Have you experienced any moments where your outfit changed the course of the day?
Yes, I once wore a tailored suit to an important meeting. I felt confident and poised.
That is a perfect example. Dressing well can have a significant psychological impact.
What advice would you give to someone exploring their personal style?
I would suggest experimenting with different looks. Discover what makes you feel comfortable and authentic.
That is excellent advice. Trying new things can enhance one's understanding of self-expression.
Thank you for this engaging conversation, John. I enjoyed discussing fashion and self-expression with you.
Thank you, Anna. Your insights are always enlightening. Let us continue exploring these vital topics in our future discussions.
Lesson 4: Continuous learning amidst busy schedules.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are doing well today.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing quite well, thank you. What is on your mind?
I wanted to discuss the challenge of continuous learning, especially when one is busy. How do you keep learning amidst your busy schedule?
That is an interesting topic. I believe it is essential to prioritize learning, even during hectic times.
I completely agree. What methods do you use to incorporate learning into your daily routine?
I like to set aside small time blocks each day for reading or online courses. Even 20 minutes can be effective.
That is a smart approach. Short, focused sessions can make a significant difference over time.
Exactly. I also find that listening to educational podcasts while commuting is a great way to learn on the go.
Podcasts are an excellent resource. They allow you to absorb information passively while multitasking.
Yes, they do. I often choose topics that interest me or relate to my career.
That is a wise strategy. Learning something relevant can enhance motivation and retention.
Have you considered using apps for quick learning?
I have. There are several fantastic apps that offer bite sized lessons on various subjects.
I use one called Duolingo for language learning during my spare moments.
That is a great choice. Daily practice, even if brief, helps reinforce learning.
Also, I try to integrate learning into my daily activities. For example, I may read articles related to my field during lunch breaks.
That is a productive use of time. Combining learning with daily tasks can make it seamless.
Have you utilized any online courses that fit into your schedule?
Yes, I often enroll in self paced courses. They allow for flexibility, which is essential for my busy lifestyle.
Self-paced courses are fantastic. They enable learners to decide when to study, making it easier to fit education into life.
Do you think accountability plays a role in continuous learning?
Absolutely. Sharing goals with friends can motivate you to stick with your learning plans.
That is an excellent idea. Group learning can also foster discussion and deeper understanding.
Yes, I once joined a study group for a professional certification. It was incredibly beneficial.
That sounds like an enriching experience. Having peers to support you can enhance the learning process.
What tips would you give to someone struggling to find time for learning?
I would suggest creating a schedule. Allocating specific times for learning can help prioritize it.
That is excellent advice. Having a defined routine ensures consistency.
Additionally, I would recommend setting achievable learning goals. Small milestones can lead to greater achievements.
I agree. Achieving small goals boosts confidence and motivation.
Have you ever faced any obstacles in your learning journey?
Yes, sometimes life gets overwhelming, and learning takes a back seat.
That is a common challenge. It is essential to be gentle with oneself during busy periods.
Exactly. Adjusting expectations can help reduce stress while maintaining a focus on learning.
What about engaging in learning as a social activity?
That can be very effective. Discussing what you learn with friends can reinforce your knowledge.
I agree. It makes the learning experience richer when shared with others.
Thank you for this insightful conversation, John. Your tips and perspectives are valuable.
Thank you, Anna. I appreciate your thoughts on maintaining continuous learning amidst busy schedules.
Lesson 5: Community Repair Events.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are enjoying your day.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing quite well, thank you. What would you like to discuss today?
I wanted to talk about community repair events. Have you ever taken part in one?
Yes, I have. I participated in a community repair event last year. It was a wonderful experience.
That sounds interesting. What kind of repairs were you involved in?
I helped fix small appliances such as toasters and blenders. Many people brought in their broken items.
That is impressive. Repairing appliances can save both money and resources.
Exactly. It also promotes sustainability by reducing waste.
How did you hear about the event?
I found out through a local community newsletter. They often promote such activities.
That is a great resource. Community newsletters can connect residents to valuable events.
They certainly do. The event itself was organized by volunteers from the community.
It is inspiring to see people come together for a common cause. Were there many participants?
Yes, the turnout was impressive. People of all ages attended, eager to learn and help.
That is fantastic. It encourages collaboration and learning among community members.
Indeed. Many attendees were eager to learn how to repair items themselves.
Did you notice any specific skills being taught during the event?
Yes, several volunteers demonstrated soldering, sewing, and basic electronics. It was informative.
That is a valuable skill set. Teaching others to repair things can empower them.
Absolutely. Participants left the event with newfound confidence in their ability to fix items.
How did you feel after taking part in the event?
I felt fulfilled and proud to contribute. It was rewarding to see people's gratitude.
That is heartwarming. Giving back to the community fosters a sense of belonging.
I totally agree. I think community repair events also promote a culture of sharing knowledge.
Sharing skills is invaluable. It can create lasting connections among residents.
Have you considered participating in a similar event?
Yes, I would love to. I believe it is an excellent way to support the community.
I recommend it. Participating in such events always leads to enriching experiences.
Do you think these events should be held more frequently?
Absolutely. Regular events could help more people and encourage a repair culture.
That sounds like a great initiative. It may also help reduce the throwaway culture that exists today.
Yes, promoting repair over replacement is essential for sustainability.
How do you think we can attract more participants to these events?
I believe promoting the educational aspect can draw in more attendees.
That is an excellent point. Emphasizing learning opportunities can be appealing.
Social media campaigns could also help. They reach wider audiences quickly.
Utilizing social media can significantly enhance visibility. It could attract younger participants as well.
Exactly. Engaging the youth is essential for the future of community repair.
What advice would you give to someone planning a community repair event?
I would suggest collaborating with local organizations. They often have valuable resources and expertise.
Collaboration can definitely enhance the impact. Thank you for sharing your insights, Anna.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed discussing the importance of community repair events with you.
Let us continue to explore more topics that promote community engagement in the future.
Lesson 6: Mastering Time Blocking Techniques.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are doing well today.
Good afternoon, John. I am quite well, thank you. What interesting topic do you have today?
I would like to discuss time blocking. What are your tips for effective time blocking?
Time blocking is an excellent approach to managing time. I prioritize tasks by dedicating specific blocks of time to each one.
That is a smart technique. How do you determine how long to allocate for each task?
I assess the complexity of each task. Some tasks require more focus and effort, while others are quicker.
That makes sense. Have you used time blocking for various aspects of your life, or just work?
I use it for both. It helps balance work responsibilities and personal commitments effectively.
That is impressive. Do you have a particular schedule you follow?
I usually set aside Sunday evenings to plan my week. I outline tasks and allocate time for each.
Planning at the start of the week sounds effective. Do you adjust your plan daily as needed?
Yes, I do. I review my schedule each morning to ensure it remains realistic and achievable.
Flexibility is essential. How do you handle unexpected interruptions during your time blocks?
I try to limit distractions, but if interruptions occur, I assess their urgency. Then, I adjust my schedule accordingly.
That is a wise strategy. Adapting to change without losing focus is an important skill.
Absolutely. I find that using a timer can help maintain focus during each block.
Using a timer creates a sense of urgency. It encourages productivity.
Yes. I set my timer for 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. This technique is known as the Pomodoro technique.
I have heard of that method. Breaks are vital for mental clarity and recharge.
They truly are. I use breaks to stretch or grab a small snack. It refreshes my mind.
Have you noticed an increase in productivity since you started time blocking?
Very much so. Time blocking eliminates the overwhelm of a long to-do list.
That is encouraging. Do you have any other tips for beginners trying time blocking for the first time?
I would recommend starting with fewer tasks. Begin with just 2 to 3 blocks daily.
That is practical advice. Gradually increasing the number of tasks can help build confidence.
Yes, and consider using digital tools or planners. They can enhance organization.
Digital tools can assist in visually managing time blocks. What apps do you recommend?
I particularly like Todoist and Trello. They are user-friendly and effective for time management.
Those sound helpful. Have you experienced any challenges while implementing time blocking?
At first, it was challenging to estimate how long tasks would take. I learned over time to improve my accuracy.
That is a common difficulty. Estimating time can take practice.
Indeed. I now reflect on my completed tasks to refine my time estimates for future planning.
That is a great practice. Continuous evaluation often leads to improvement.
What about you, John? Have you tried time blocking?
Yes, I have recently started. I find that it helps manage my daily workload better.
That is excellent. What types of tasks are you focusing on?
I allocate blocks for both work-related tasks and personal development activities.
Balancing both areas is essential for overall growth. How do you ensure you stick to your blocks?
I use reminders on my phone. They help keep me accountable.
That is a great idea. Accountability can significantly enhance commitment.
What do you consider the most important aspect of time blocking?
I believe consistency is key. Sticking to a schedule builds habits over time.
I agree. Habits can lead to long-term success. Thank you for sharing your insights, Anna.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed discussing time blocking and productivity strategies with you.
Let us continue exploring effective time management techniques in the future.
Lesson 7: Evaluating Technology News Stories.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are having a productive day.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing well, thank you. What topic do you have in mind today?
I wanted to discuss how to evaluate technology news stories. It is crucial to discern credible information.
That is a very relevant topic. With so much information available, evaluating sources is essential.
Absolutely. What strategies do you use to assess the credibility of a technology news story?
I start by checking the source of the story. Established and reputable publications often provide more reliable information.
That is a solid approach. Familiarity with credible sources can significantly enhance judgment.
I also look for the author's qualifications. A writer with expertise in technology is more likely to present accurate information.
That is an excellent point. Understanding the background of the writer adds context to the article.
Furthermore, I consider the publication date. Technology evolves rapidly, and recent news is often more relevant.
Timeliness is indeed crucial. Older stories may contain outdated information.
I also cross-reference the news with other reliable sources. It helps confirm the accuracy of the information.
That is a smart strategy. Comparing different perspectives can provide a more comprehensive view.
Have you ever encountered misleading technology news?
Yes, I have. Sensational headlines can often exaggerate facts or mislead readers.
That is unfortunate. Such practices can create confusion and distrust.
I find it essential to be cautious. Reading beyond the headlines is crucial for understanding the full story.
Absolutely. Many articles provide nuanced information that is not captured in headlines.
What role do images and infographics play in your evaluation process?
Visuals can enhance understanding, but they can also be manipulated. I assess their relevance and accuracy.
That is a wise approach. Images should support the content rather than distract or mislead.
Additionally, I pay attention to the comments or discussions that follow the article. These can provide valuable insights.
Engaging with the community can help clarify differing opinions and reinforce credibility.
Have you considered how the presentation style of the article influences your evaluation?
Yes, the tone and professionalism of the writing can indicate the level of credibility.
Indeed. A well-structured article often reflects thorough research and thoughtfulness.
Do you think technology news should include potential biases?
Yes, recognizing bias is key. Many publications have specific perspectives that may influence their reporting.
I agree. Understanding these biases allows for a more informed interpretation of the news.
What tools do you use to verify information when evaluating a story?
I often refer to fact checking websites. They provide a credible analysis of various claims.
Fact-checking websites are invaluable. They help to clarify any misinformation quickly.
How often do you find yourself critically evaluating technology news?
I make it a habit to critically assess news daily. Staying informed requires careful scrutiny.
That is commendable. A critical mindset is essential in today's information age.
Have you ever shared your evaluation techniques with others?
Yes, I frequently discuss these skills with friends. I believe everyone should learn how to evaluate news critically.
That is a valuable contribution. Teaching others can foster a more informed community.
What advice would you give to someone new to evaluating technology news?
I would recommend starting with reputable sources and practicing critical reading skills. Over time, it becomes easier.
That is excellent advice. Developing a critical mindset is key for navigating technology news effectively.
Thank you for this enlightening conversation, John.
Thank you, Anna. I enjoyed discussing the evaluation of technology news stories with you.
Lesson 8: The Joy of Home-Cooked Comfort Foods.
Good evening, Anna. I hope you are enjoying your day.
Good evening, John. I am indeed well, thank you. What would you like to discuss today?
I wanted to talk about comfort foods. What are your favorite home-cooked comfort foods?
That is a delightful topic. I absolutely love homemade macaroni and cheese. It brings back fond memories.
Macaroni and cheese is a classic comfort food. What makes it special for you?
It reminds me of childhood dinners with my family. There is something nostalgic about it.
I understand. Comfort foods often carry sentimental value. Do you have a special recipe?
Yes, I use a mix of cheddar and mozzarella cheese. The combination creates a creamy texture.
That sounds delicious. Do you bake it or serve it stovetop?
I usually bake it for a golden crust. It adds an extra layer of flavor.
Baking creates such a delightful texture. What other comfort foods do you enjoy?
I also love homemade chicken soup. It is soothing, especially during cold weather.
Chicken soup is a comfort classic. Do you use any special ingredients?
I add plenty of vegetables, such as carrots, celery, and onions. Fresh herbs enhance the flavor, too.
Fresh ingredients make a significant difference. Do you often cook this dish?
Yes, I make it regularly. It is easy to prepare and perfect for meal prep.
That is a practical approach. What about desserts? Do you have a favorite comfort food dessert?
I adore chocolate chip cookies. A warm cookie fresh out of the oven is pure bliss.
Chocolate chip cookies are indeed delightful. Do you bake them often?
I try to bake them at least once a month. It is a fun activity that brings joy.
Baking can be therapeutic. What is your secret for the perfect cookie?
I always use brown sugar. It adds moisture and richness to the cookies.
That is a valuable tip. I will have to try it next time I bake cookies.
You definitely should. What about you? What are your favorite comfort foods?
I find comfort in homemade lasagna. It is warm and filling, perfect for family gatherings.
Lasagna is a wonderful comfort food. What ingredients do you use?
I layer pasta, ricotta cheese, mozzarella, and a rich marinara sauce. It takes time, but it is worth it.
It sounds delicious. Do you make it for special occasions?
Yes, it is often a centerpiece for family dinners. Everyone looks forward to it.
That must be a fantastic experience. Does your family have any other traditional recipes?
Yes, we also enjoy pot roast. It simmers for hours, creating tender and flavorful meat.
Pot roast is such a comforting dish, especially in chilly weather.
It really is. The aroma fills the house with warmth. How do you feel about sharing recipes with friends?
I love sharing recipes. It builds connections and allows for culinary exploration.
Indeed. Passing down recipes can preserve family traditions.
Do you have any family recipes that you cherish?
Yes, my grandmother's famous apple pie recipe is special to me. It is a family favorite.
Apple pie is a classic. The smell of it baking must evoke wonderful memories.
It does. I believe food has a way of connecting us to our past.
Absolutely. Comfort foods can create a sense of belonging and nostalgia.
What advice would you give to someone looking to try cooking comfort foods?
I would suggest starting with simple recipes. Familiarity with the basics builds confidence.
That is excellent advice. Learning in stages can lead to greater culinary creativity.
Thank you for this delightful conversation, John. I enjoyed discussing our favorite comfort foods.
Thank you, Anna. Your passion for home cooked meals is truly inspiring.